Hello everybody. Come along with me today. We're going to forge some blacksmith knives from an old pitchfork. I've never done this before, so it's going to be an adventure as we get going together. First thing we have to do, of course, take a pitchfork and take the tines off of it. Now I have several of these laying around, a couple with broken handles, a couple that are just the pitchforks themselves, so they're basically free steel. And the interesting thing about pitchforks and most garden type implements like this, they actually have a fairly high carbon steel content. So it can be used to make a decent little knife. Got our tines, we have 6 here to work with. I've never done this before, so we're going to do it together. Going to start by figuring this out. I don't actually forge knives typically, so you're going to notice me pause, look at things, do things differently as I actually watch what's happening with the steel under the hammer and figuring out. Here we're just taking the thick part of the tine. We're going to forge it out into a basic knife shape. And I'm going to work to try to get this as close as possible to the finished thicknesses, tapers, and everything else that I need for the blades, as I do not have a belt grinder. So I'll be finishing this with mostly a file and a small 2" by 27 Princess Auto style grinder. Again, forging these out, trying to get a decent plunge line on there and working through getting the blade shapes going. You can actually watch me pause, look at things, and figure out what I need to do with the steel as we go along. I'm going to put a little point on it, and as I said, I don't really do this typically, so figuring it out. How does it look? How's it going to behave as I keep forging this out? Starting to get there, starting to figure out what that steel is going to do, what that blade is going to do as I continue to pinch that steel and move it. We're going to see some natural curvature happen, and we're going to need to correct that to get the lines the way I want it to. I had a picture in my mind, but nothing really drawn, so this is just looking at it as it's going. What's the steel giving me? What can I do with it? Got a little bit of a curve in here, which is not really, I mean, I could have left this in and made it more of an upswept blade, but it's not really what I wanted. My mind had more of a Finnish Mora pucko style blade in mind. I'm going to counter curve this so that when I continue to thin the edge of the blade, that the thinning of that blade is going to push that point upwards and get it more in line with where I want it to be. Now we're going to straighten that spine out, and we're going to try to, with small taps, the steel is quite thin there, I'm going to try to refine that edge a little bit so that I have less filing to do. Take out some of the dips, some of the whoop-de-woos, and get a little cleaner line so it's a little easier to finish. Lots of pausing and thinking and observing. This was actually the trickiest part. The pitchfork tines actually have a diamond cross section, and the way I forged the blades meant that these curls should have been curled along the edge of the diamond, not on the flat of the diamond. Of course, the metal itself would much rather curl around the flat, so I had to fight with it a little bit and do a little bit of fiddling around with it, but eventually we got it all sorted out and got the curls the way that I was somewhat happy with them. Again, this is first time, so they definitely, as you'll see here in a moment, they're definitely different all the way through. Forge that handle, form it around the horn. You can do this on a mandrel or basically anything you've got on hand. You can do it over the edge of the animal as well. The horn works all right if you're paying attention. Some of these ended up in very different lengths and required a fair bit of tweaking to get them to terminate and end where I wanted them to, kind of close to the ricasso of the knife. So you'll see here this one gets folded down, and then we're going to do a little tweaking to it to make it aesthetically the way I want it to look. And we have to keep checking the line to make sure that everything is in the same plane and in the same alignment all the way through. Tweaks here with those rolling pliers, which, you know, can be used as a hammer. Then we're going to go ahead and give it all a little wire brush, get most of that scale off, make it a little easier on the cleaning process. And there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lastly 6. Not unhappy with the way they turned out. That's after they've soaked overnight to anneal, and now we're going to finish